and I mentioned this before, I work with a lot of business owners and they're all privately owned, most of them family businesses. And I see a lot of, unfortunately, I see a lot of dysfunction in the statistics. There's an association called the Family Business Institute, and they publish statistics of the failure rates of second gen and even third gen businesses. So I'm always trying to learn more so that I can convey to my clients what makes a successful transition from Gen 1 to Gen 2. Andrew, you were named president within the last couple of years, I believe, right? And so I'm just curious as to that family dynamic there. How did you establish, how did you, sort of work that dynamic, and, what are the challenges that you find, or was it just, has it come easy to you? I mean, Andrew, you sound like you're a real self-starter and you're a responsible guy, and that certainly helps. But you see a lot with these second gen, a lot of sense of entitlement and sort of like, hey, it's my name's on the wall, so I get a job and, a big office or what have you. So I'm just kind of curious, like Keith, as to, as the senior member of the family here, like, how do you manage that and potential, I mean, obviously you have a daughter too. She's not working in the business now, but generally speaking, was there any type of guide that you had, and, maybe a mentor of your own, or working with your brother? Obviously you had that history there, right? And I'm sure you guys, it sounds like you were greatly successful, but at the same time, I'm sure you had your disagreements. And, I hear about my dad and my uncle who were in business for 30 years and they came out on the other end okay. But I'm always interested to hear, how do you manage that expectations and ensure that the family is still intact, let alone the business, right?
I think it starts with values, Wes. I think, and you can't really, you can put values on the wall, or you can say, put them in a book or anything, but it really, how do you live them? And so we always lived well within our means. And so we weren't extravagant. We weren't, we always reinvested in the business. And I think Darren and Andrew saw that at every step of the way, and they saw how we worked hard. I think that just is easy to pass on. I think if we would probably had bad values, it would have been harder to pass on and expect the next generation to have good values. If as an organization we were like spending the last cent on personal stuff rather than reinvesting in the business. But I think Andrew came in with a really good head on his shoulders, and he saw how he liked what he saw in terms of culture, and he liked what he saw. And we talked about it. He wanted to work in operations to start with. And I said, the best place to start in operations is unloading trucks. I know you got an MBA, but you got to go unload trucks for, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 weeks. He said, no, I'm going to stay down there for a lot longer than that. I want to get to know all the guys. And he unloaded trucks for 12 weeks. So Andrew, take it from there.
Yeah. So, I knew, I agree. I think I've watched Keith and my mom run our business and my uncle run our business a certain way. So I think that rubbed off on me for 20 plus years before I even started. And I think I chose not to dive deep into the business until I think I was mentally prepared to be all in. So I think that was also helpful. And when I jumped in when I dived in all in, I picked the right department to really try to earn the respect of the business by doing every job in operations and being there, not afraid to sweat, every single day, and working 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. shift. Or my wife now, early when we were dating, she didn't really know. She thought I was joking when I was actually going to work at 10 o'clock at night. She's like, what? She was like, anyways, it just shows you that now I worked all the shifts, crazy hours. And I think that showed Keith, the senior team, the leaders in our organization that are still around, 17 years later, that, I've done all the dirty jobs and I know how to do it, and, learn from the ground up. But I think Keith's values of running the business all those years is what, I think I inherently knew what was going to be expected. And, I knew that I wouldn't be the president one day if I didn't deserve it. And if I didn't feel like I earned it, I wouldn't feel whole inside. So, and I think, as I went through, I try to help. I would advise any second generation, add value where the business needs you, and focus and make progress. And I was pretty smart that I would never extend myself, and I would focus in an area, improve it, and be, earn that growth and that responsibility, and never just use my name to get more responsibility. And I feel pretty, now you're never going to, nobody in the organization is always, going to say 100%, but I would say almost every promotion I got, I think the leaders around me or above me or below me would have said he deserved that every step of the way. And I think Keith and I timed it pretty properly. So timing's everything. And, but when you work your butt off and you work harder than him, or we have a CFO for our company, Steve Wilder, who's amazing, and work harder than both those two guys, for many years, you'll earn the respect of a lot of people, and you'll become a subject matter expert in a lot of aspects of the business. Keith still schools me in a lot of parts of the business, but I think that's helped me get to where I am. Now we've gone at it all our career, here and there, and I've heard him going at it with his brother, my uncle, but I think that's normal. But we have all that core good values inside that at the end of the day, we love each other, and we're going to be there for each other. And, we'll screw up here and there, but it's good to have those values aligned in the beginning, because I think it does make it easier.
I think it's amazing that the part where you're working on the loading docks and they're sort of in the entry level job, physically putting in the time and energy in the hours that you're putting in, 10 p.m. is amazing. I think that
he's still doing that, by the way. He's going in now because it's really busy. He's going in for a few hours on Sundays to do that. So that shows a lot of leadership to people. It's not mailing it in. He's coming in and working with the guys, and they appreciate that. That's how you build cred.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's no sense of entitlement there. I mean, you're putting in the time and effort, and that the other eyes are looking at you, right? Like, especially when you first get there, there's the Koenig kid, like, is he going to put in a shift, or is he going to have his feet up on the table in the break room? Like, clearly that wasn't the case. So the fact that you were that determined at a young age is great to see. And I think that more the second gen, could learn from that example. And I don't think people are ever going to fault you, right, if you're putting in the time and energy and working harder than the next guy. Like, there's just a level of respect that will always come with that, I think, anywhere. So